So Call for an Uprising has a brand new video. I don't know if you guys were familiar, but there's a new show on Netflix, I believe, called Inside Job. Inside Job is an adult animated comedy that deals with people who work at a government agency, a fictional government agency, that basically is behind all of the traditional conspiracy theories. It's a show making fun of conspiracy theorists and how the world would look if all the conspiracy theories were true, and what a government agency might look like that deals with covering up all sorts of conspiracies. Funny premise for a show. Haven't seen it, so I don't know if it's any good. I'm not speaking to the quality of the show whatsoever. But to anyone else, obviously, it's a joke, right? It's a comedy show that's about a ridiculous premise. What if all the wackadoo conspiracy theories that people believed in on the internet were real? And what would that look like? And that's the premise of the show. Call has taken this badly. He's taken this badly. So let's watch this video on it. Please watch this. Let me see what it is.
Guy who's been with thousands of women.
Oh, this is a clip from the show, I think.
Guy who's been with thousands of women. You really don't seem to know what you're doing down there.
What is this, mind games?
This is an honest conversation with a woman.
Stop! It's torture!
Pretty good. Alright, Blackwing Hecate says it's hilarious. I'll have to check it out. Hydrate.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Many of you asked me to check out this show on Netflix. I try to do my best when you make requests to try and actually do it. Sometimes it's pretty hard to sit through a lot of this stuff. A lot of these are series, so there's a lot of episodes. But there's a show called Inside Job. Might as well replace the word inside with, well, another word I could think of, because that's what this is. It's just a really, really...
Blow or hand? Because those are both good.
Crappy job by Netflix as always, but the show is of course about conspiracy theories, making fun of conspiracies, bringing light to truth, and then mocking it. And of course they need to go after these younger generations to continue to make these kids, these teens, and I get it, the show's probably geared towards teens. It's hard to even tell at this point with these cartoons.
Blackwing Hecate says, I think he meant con. I guess my head's in the gutter.
Because we have adults who watch cartoons, and I'm not passing judgment, or, you know, maybe I'm making fun a little bit.
I'm pretty sure the show's rated. Let's see what the rating is. I don't need the cast, I need the rating. I'm guessing whatever the TV equivalent of PG-13 is. Should to guess, though? Let me see.
Look, Dad, as long as you're living with me,
TVMA.
First,
what's the recommended age for TVMA? TVMA meaning. Mature audiences, specifically designed to be viewed by adults and therefore may be unsuitable for children under 17. So 17, 18, 19, sure, but other than that, it's for adults.
But we have adults who are, 40 years old, watch cartoons. So, when I...
Call, do you watch anything fun at all? I'm not telling you have to watch cartoons. It's fine if you don't like cartoons. But, like, it's a little weird how you seem to shit on everything that's fun ever, and then you wonder why your life is dog shit. Stormfox says, an inside job, the flat earth conspiracy theory is still fake. Also, if you show Call Castlevania, you would think it's for kids too, probably. Narnandia Owl says, of course Call has the boomer take that all cartoons are automatically for kids.
I see a cartoon, I automatically think it's geared towards kids, but it's really, I guess, geared towards teens and the older crowd, 20-year-olds, I guess, if you want to call that old. And what it does is it just mocks conspiracies. It brings truth to light because they talk about these topics which are true, which... If anybody has eyes and they can see what's going on in the world today, everything that all of us have been exposing for so many years is actually happening.
Is that guy getting high off of chemtrails? That's pretty funny. Speedy Yoshi says, one of the main characters is an alien mushroom that lives inside the hollow earth and is milked.
I mean, it's actually come true, yet we're still crazy tinfoil hat wearer.
Sorry, I missed a thing. Blackwing Hecate says, although the thing that came to my mind was the line from Hedwig and the Angry Inch, the type of job we call blow. Jesus.
Conspiracy theorists, and obviously what we've seen transpire over the last couple years, specifically since the outbreak started, is an obsession in the media. And of course, this goes back to pizza, the thing with the pizza. The obsession with the media of talking about conspiracies, bringing it up constantly.
Conspiracies get brought up more often nowadays because the prevalence of conspiracy theorists online has never been more evident, and it's starting to leak into real-world political discussions, and it's really disconcerting. Like, seriously, people are talking about conspiracy theorists because one of the major political parties in this country, the country with most of the nukes, is legitimately completely driven by conspiracy and falsehood. That's why it gets brought up so often.
Because they need to deflect, whereas in the past, they wouldn't even bring attention to any of this stuff because they would go, oh, they're just crazy conspiracy people. Why even give them attention? Well, now they need to give attention to all of us because everything has come to pass, and they have to deflect.
No, nothing has come to pass. You're just starting to actually influence people, and that's really fucking annoying for people who live in a little place I like to call reality.
And convince these stupider generations that we're crazy, even though everything that's happening is what we said. So this show, I'm going to show you the trailer. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it or heard about it already because a lot of you have commented about it. This is the plot synopsis here. Lizard people, ? Real? The moon landing, fake? Managing the world's conspiracies, a full-time job for an awkward genius and her dysfunctional co-workers. Take a look at the trailer. You'll see all the stuff in there. You'll see mentions of chems. You'll see mentions of, well, just take a look at this disaster of a show.
Have you ever wondered who really runs the world? Everything you know is a lie.
This manages every conspiracy in the world. Can you manage to show up on time?
These people are trying to push you out of the company just like he did to me.
Dad, you weren't pushed out. You were fired. You almost exposed the deep state because you wanted a ride to Wetzel's Pretzels. You're lucky I called the snipers off.
Drone, bro!
What the hell? Are you all high?
What's that?
Oh, God. Wake up, sheeple! HR was right about one thing. I am difficult.
Reagan! Reagan!
You do want to take over the world, right?
Everyone wants that.
I don't think they're being honest with us about who's really in control.
So they do this constantly. Obviously, you can't look at it and be offended.
Looks like he hasn't watched any of the shows based on the screenshots not showing progress. I'll have to check it out at some point. I think it looks potentially funny, but adult animation can be pretty hit or miss. Crimsy Omega says you should check this dude out. Alright, we can watch that in a little bit. Thank you. I always appreciate new conspiracy people, by the way, so if anyone ever has a suggestion, feel free to send it my way.
At this point, and be like, oh, they're making
The show's called Inside Job.
fun of us. I mean, we're not like the people on the left who can't poke fun at them or anything like that, or, they want to censor you. I don't care that they do stuff like this.
You don't get censored for poking fun of people on the left. You can do that. You get censored, air quote, for breaking TOS of YouTube by spreading misinformation and being transphobic. That's why you get your channels removed and videos removed.
Problem with stuff like this is what gets people to be desensitized and then think that all of this stuff is an actual joke, the way they word
it is
stuff, right? Instead of talking about demonic possession and those types of things, lizard people, right? And these are some of the topics that they talk about on the show. These are some of the first episodes. They talk about, let's see here, cloning people. You saw in the trailer, people frozen. These are all things that are actually go on. They talk about it nonstop, which just shows you that there's truth behind it. They talk about blue bloods after lizard people.
Wait, there's truth behind it because they're talking about something in a fictional show? Fiction cited as fact on the bingo card. Logarth says, my favorite conspiracy theory is that everything is going to be okay. Yeah, that's one I could never wrap my head around.
People. After a lizard people-related PR disaster, the team must do damage control at the swanky Reptoid Gala, where hugs are required. I mean, just ridiculous crap. I mean, if people don't see what they're trying to do, and, you know, people are like, well, you know, they're just trying to make a show and entertain people.
That's literally what they're doing. They're making fun of people like you, which people like me find entertaining, as does my audience, because you're funny, because you're a joke.
It's like they're so obsessed with us, so obsessed with conspiracies, and of course they love taking stuff and then making it overly dramatic, right? Like bloodline. Well, there are bloodlines.
They keep acting like we're stupid, like we believe in bloodlines, except there are evil secret bloodlines. Why do they not take us seriously?
This is factual. You could go into these websites like Ancestry and type in the bloodlines of these people, who of course use different names, but type in the bloodlines of...
Just type in these bloodlines. Yeah, their family names are completely different, and they don't say they're connected, but my brain tells me otherwise, and my brain has never lied to me. It would tell me if it did, and if it didn't, I would know, because even I know what's going on behind my brain's back. That's how I assume his inner monologue goes.
You know, the Kennedys, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the DuPonts, all of these elite bloodlines, and then see what they run and they control. Right? People are like, you know, the DuPonts control all the chemicals. Where do you think all the chemicals that they dump in the food comes from? Or from the sky?
Okay, if you don't like monopolies and large corporate oligarchy, your issue is with capitalism, not secret societies and conspiracies. It's a fundamental system that dictates the function and organization of all of our lives. It's not doing great. Not a conspiracy. Just a shitty system operated by even shittier people.
Right? Then you got other episodes about robots. You got episodes in there about, of course, My Big Flat Earth Wedding. So they have the flat earth in there. Ghost protocols, talking about, you know, demon possession, making light of that. Let's see, they have
Blackwing Hackety says, this is Call's brain talking to Call's brain.
Everything that we know in law is reducible to the absurd acts of animals. And there is therefore no intrinsic value in this material universe.
Hypocrite that you are, for you trust the chemicals in your brain to tell you they are chemicals. All knowledge is ultimately based on that which we cannot prove. Will you fight, or will you perish like a dog?
moon landing stuff. I mean, just, you know, colonizations in other countries, of course, and then you saw stuff in the trailer as well. I mean, this is what they do it for. They don't do it for any other reason than to deflect. And then this is how they get, this is what you do to get people to automatically dismiss conspiracy, right? These are triggers that are created in people's minds. This is how mind control works.
Cole, have you considered that people sort of implicitly find these claims to be silly in the first place, which is why it's such fertile soil for comedy? Again, haven't seen the show, can't say if it's good or not, but at the very least, as a premise for a show, it's a good idea, because most people, by and large, have heard of people believing ridiculous conspiracy theories because it's so prevalent online. So making it the premise of a show, people already find you conspiracy nuts hilarious, makes sense. Again, you don't have to like the show, don't know if the show's funny, haven't seen it. But the show doesn't need a conspiracy to exist. Its existence makes total sense, just making fun of you because you're funny. That's it. It's why I have a job, is because people like you exist. Like, you, Peter, all the people on Chudwatch that I watch, like, you're funny. You're kind of inherently funny. It's why there's an audience for material like me. It's not a conspiracy. Like, maybe it... Hold on. I was waiting for this. It's not a conspiracy call. Why would it be a conspiracy? I don't know if I showed you guys this. I got a henna tattoo for Halloween. I did a call for an uprising Illuminati symbol. Seriously, though. You're just funny.
Of course, the zombies out there will just say, oh, you know, and you saw the sheeple, right? Of course, making light of sheeple. You know, all the terms that most people who are, you know, delve into conspiracies talk about. And they make, you know, they make light of all of it, and then they use a lot of the terms and make them trigger words for people, so they automatically just...
I like that he doesn't like that he got called out for the sheeple thing. He's like, no, but they're just trying to program you. You're still sheeple, even though that's a hilarious word. Sheeple! Not Andy Owl says, Hannah be like...
It's free real estate.
Two Man says, I'm not gonna lie, I thought the show was just going to be a Rick and Morty styled SCP show, but I really enjoyed the main character. It's great. Oh, cool. Have to check it out.
Dismiss when they hear certain stuff. That's why I've been leaning towards just calling them zombies, which is what these people are turning into anyway if they get more of that graph in them. But we live amongst zombies. I mean, that's the reality of the world we live in. We also live in a world where the younger generations are so arrogant and prideful. I mean, these are
Boomer!
They're like teenagers who don't have jobs. They don't do, their mommy and daddy take care of them.
What do you do for a living again, Call? Is it this?
And they keyboard warriors on the internet and stuff like that, and they want to censor.
Call? What do you think you're doing?
Everyone. They're just prideful. They think that they know all the answers. And the same goes for a lot of...
No. I know very little, but I know enough to know that you're full of shit, Call. You're very, very wrong. I'm incredibly wrong about a lot of things, too. One thing I am not wrong about is the fact that you are wrong. It is the universal constant around which my entire existence revolves. That you are wrong at all times about everything. Glad we cleared that up.
These guys who are like in their 20s and 30s, you know, and college educated, not like any of us aren't college educated. Not that that means anything, because it's a total waste of time. But they're so prideful because, like I've said a million times, they've had this stuff beaten into their skulls, and they don't want to think that their life was, you know, all the stuff that they went through and all the training and the courses and all that stuff was worth nothing. But in reality, it was worth nothing. So this is what Netflix and these networks or, you know, streaming services are going to keep pumping out. Stuff like this. And like I said earlier in the video, there's a reason that there's been such an uptick in the mentioning of conspiracies. That's why so many of you are here.
Because there's been an uptick in the number of people who adhere to conspiracy thinking. It's not a hard thing to understand the correlation of.
Who are new to it. There's a lot of new people. That's why I constantly say, every day there's new...
Correlation isn't causation on the bingo card, or correlation confused for causation on the bingo card.
New people that are suddenly feeling that something is wrong in the world because they see what's going on with the potion and everything else. And then they're jumping in here, right? And they're going, hey, well, okay, let me see what this stuff is. A lot of you are deeply awakened and been awake for a long time, but you got to remember there's new people. There's every single day there's new people who are coming to my channel or other channels and are brand new to this. So they don't know a lot of this stuff. They don't know about mind control. They don't know none of it. And it's important to continually wake them up and
they should put a character that's like Call for an Uprising in this show. I think that'd be very funny. Blackwing Hecate says, Call puts out such I know I am, but what are you energy? I know, right? Netflix, hire me. I'll consult on the conspiracy show.
Show them all of this stuff. And this is the easiest basic thing to see, other than, of course, science and symbols, is when they constantly bring attention to this stuff, because this is just a basic form of human behavior, deflection, right? They're projecting.
So if they're ignoring your conspiracy theories, it's because you're too close and they can't let people be aware of what you've gotten to. And when they make fun of you directly and mock you to your face, then it's to try and discredit you because you're too close to the truth. It's almost like you're trying to form unfalsifiable claims that always put you in the best light possible and never allow you to consider whether or not your beliefs are true. It's very convenient. It's not very sound, but it's convenient.
Projecting and deflecting. by bringing attention to this stuff. Excuse me, and then using humor, constantly using humor. Like you hear Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert, every single night bringing attention to conspiracies, doing skits with tinfoil hats, talking about conspiracy theories. This never used to be the case. But since so much has happened in the last 5 or 6 years, since light is being shed on darkness and these people are coming out of the woodwork, this is their tactic that they're using to make sure that the youth out there laughs at this stuff and shakes it off and goes, it's a stupid conspiracy, because it creates triggers in their mind. So this is inside job. It's a total bomb. And look, you could like whatever you want to like, but this, it's just garbage. It's garbage content, and it's strictly there for the purpose of conditioning people. That's all that these shows are put out there for. Any of these shows and these skits that are done about conspiracies are there to create triggers in people's minds, to deflect and project their BS on every...
Is that supposed to be Frozen Avril Lavigne? Is this referencing the Avril Lavigne conspiracy? Because that's actually pretty funny.
Everybody else. And it works. That's the sad thing about it. It unfortunately works. But if people started using critical thinking, they would realize why they're doing this, the purpose for it all, that they're,
Call, you don't understand why they're doing this. They're doing this because you're funny. You are inherently funny. Because you are wrong. Often. Buggy Washair, thank you for following.
The purpose for all of them constantly bring attention to it. Not because...
Stephen J. Neptune Man says Call uses critical thinking. Yes. D1, like on a D20, critical failure. Critical failure thinking. He didn't say what kind of critical it was.
Because it's a ratings magnet.
That was a little bit of a messy D&D joke, but yeah, I'll let that one stand.
We're talking about conspiracy because it's so popular. It's because so many people are waking up because they can't hide what they're doing anymore. They don't hide it. It's all in front of our faces. All of it. So, this is Inside Job on Netflix. I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank the Patreons, because you keeps me here on YouTube. So please consider becoming one if you're not. And again, a reminder, check out the website at callforanuprising.com. It's well worth it. Check it out if you haven't. And I appreciate all of you for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families.
X Flowers for Brain says, I just like how Colin, many like him, seem to have a good way for promoting Netflix shows. Subscribe to Netflix, watch a show, get scared or mad at the show and make a conspiracy, or just complain about the show online. Felix Night Owl says, the mountain of irony in Call talking about critical thinking. And Tube Man says the creator of the show was a writer on Gravity Falls, so making fun of conspiracies is a normal thing for them. Oh, I love Gravity Falls. That makes sense then. Probably is good. I'll have to check it out. Gravity Falls is another good show that kind of delves into conspiracy, supernatural stuff in a funny way. It is a kid's show, but I think it's watchable for adults. Morok says, I think the art on the show is cute. May look into it. Thanks, Call. Isn't Call so good for picking out new shows? So that's what he's been up to. Same old, same old.